Hello everyone. In the last class, we have derived an expression for the length of belt for open belt drive, and now let us see how to derive an expression for the length of belt for a cross belt drive. As I said in the previous class itself, the procedure is almost similar to that of open belt drive. Only changes there is some small sign changes will come here. Other than that, the entire procedure is the same as that of the procedure what we use for that open belt drive. Let us see now how to derive that expression for this length of cross belt drive. So first let us begin with that diagram for that cross belt drive. So you can see that this is what the diagram for the cross belt drive. So we have a driver pulley here, and this is the driven pulley here, and you can see this is the center of driver pulley O1, and this is center of driven pulley O2, and R1 is the radius of this driver pulley or larger pulley, and R2 is the radius of smaller pulley, and C is the center distance between these two pulleys, you can see here. And again we have that angle of contact here, you can see there. In case of this from here to here it is 5 plus of 2 alpha. You all know that here to here it is 185, and here that angle is alpha, and here that is angle is alpha. So pi plus alpha, that is pi plus 2 alpha. And here on this side, it is on smaller pulley side, where in that open belt drive it was pi minus of 2 alpha, because that belt was touching this driven pulley somewhere here. So and here on this side it was the belt was touching the driven pulley somewhere here. But in this case of cross belt drive, the belt will come to contact with that pulley, that is that smaller pulley, somewhere here itself, and even on this side it will come somewhere here itself. So again this is alpha, you can see here I have shown here, this is alpha here, as well as this is also alpha. So for that, this value, that this angle will become, again it is same as that of this one, that is 5 plus of 2 alpha. So whereas in case of open belt drive it will be 5 minus of 2 alpha. So you got one sign difference here, it will be pi plus 2 alpha for this cross belt drive here. And again point A, it's a point at which that belt will leaves this or come in contact with this one pulley, that the larger pulley, and again point B is a point of contact of this belt and the smaller pulley. Point C again a point of contact of this belt and this smaller pulley, and point D is the point of contact of this larger pulley and the belt. First point of contact there. And yes, these were the points you need to mention clearly. And after that, so let us see which are all that notations we will make use here. Yes, we will have one by one. First, let R1 be the radius of larger pulley. Yes, this is that R1, that is radius of larger pulley, and R2, that is radius of smaller pulley. We have R2 here, that is radius of smaller pulley. C is the center distance between the two pulleys. This is the center distance between the two pulleys, and that is C. Next, L is total length of the belt, and L1 is length of the belt in contact with larger pulley. So L1 is length of the belt in contact with larger pulley, that is maybe from here A to D, or we can take it as from D to A. That is the total length of the belt in contact with the larger pulley, whereas L2 is this much, again from B to this C, or from C to B, that is length of the belt in contact with smaller pulley. This is L2. And L3 is length of the belt which is not in contact with either of the pulley. So you can see here from A to C as well as D to B, these two lengths of the belt which is not in contact with either of the pulley. So this is L3. L3 is nothing but AC plus BD. This is L3. And I think you all get this, these are all same again as that of open belt drive. So this is very simple to remember actually. So and even if you write the diagram, and these are all can write easily. R1 is the radius of larger pulley, R2 is the radius of smaller pulley, C is the center distance between those two pulleys, L is the total length of the belt, L1 is length of the belt in contact with larger pulley, L2 is length of the belt in contact with smaller pulley, and L3 is length of the belt which is not in contact with either of the pulley. So you just write all these. As I said, these are again same as that of that open belt drive. Only change is this diagram and as well as this sign in this value will get changed. And next let us come to derivation for that length of that belt in a cross belt drive. And you all know that L is already we have taken it as total length of the belt. L is equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3. We will call this as equation number 1. L is the total length of the belt. L1 is length of the belt in contact with the larger pulley. L2 is length of the belt in contact with smaller pulley. L3 is length of the belt which is not in contact with either of the pulley. So L1 plus L2 plus L3. And we all can easily write the expression for L1 and L2 very easily. So that is we will make use of the diagram and we will write the expression for L1 and L2. So yes, to calculate L1 and L2 we will make use of this diagram of this cross belt drive. To calculate L1 is length of the belt in contact with larger pulley. Yes, this is A to D or D to A is the length of the belt which is in contact with larger pulley. We have this angle here, angle of contact 5 plus 2 alpha, and it has to be multiplied by this radius r1 here. So pi plus 2 alpha into r1 will give you the length of the belt in contact with this larger pulley. That is, we will call it as equation number 2. Next, L1 is pi plus 2 alpha into r1 will gives you the length of the belt which is in contact with larger pulley, that is L1. We will call it as equation number 2. Next, L2 is again, you can see here we have that angle of contact here, that is pi plus 2 alpha again, and it has to be multiplied with this radius, that is r2. Yes, L2 is equal to pi plus 2 alpha into r2. We will call that as equation number 3. Yes, we got L1 and L2 now. Next, L3 has to be calculated. We all know that L3 is length of the belt which is not in contact with either of the pulley, that is AC plus BD is the length of the belt which is not in contact with either of the pulley. To calculate L3, again as I said in the previous case, even in case of open belt drive, we just made a small modification to calculate L3. Here also, to calculate L3, we need to do a slight modification. That is, what is the modification is, from O1, draw a line O1P parallel to belt BD. Yes, this is the center O1. From this O1, I will draw a line O1P. You can see here, that is the chain line what I have drawn here. This O1P will be parallel to this belt BD. Yes, this is a small modifications or slight construction I have to make. In the previous case, that is in case of open belt drive, we had drawn that line from O to P, that is parallel to that AB. But here it is from O1 and we will draw a line O1P parallel to this belt BD. So this is a small construction we need to make here. Next, once you write this, once you make this modification or construction, we will get a right angle triangle here, that is this O1 O2P. We will get this right angle triangle, and from the triangle O1 O2P we will write what is the expression for O1P. Again make use of that Pythagoras theorem. O1P is equal to this hypotenuse square minus of this adjacent this opposite side square, that is O1 O2 square minus O2P square. And since we want only O1P, this thing will comes in the under square root. So O1P is equal to root of O1 O2 square minus O2P square. Yes, again I will substitute the value of this O1 O2 as well as O2P. Yes, you can see here O1 O2, it is a center distance between these two pulleys, so I will write this as C square. Next O2P, that is from ear to ear. So you already know that O2B is same as that of R2, right? So that is R2, and B to P, this value is same as that of O1 to D. O1 to D is same as that of R1. So this O to P is summation of O to B plus BP. O to B is R2 and BP is same as that of R1. So O to P value will become R1 plus R2 and R1 plus R2 whole square. Next, again the procedure is same as I said. We will multiply this numerator and denominator by C square. This term has to be multiplied and divided by C square. So next, if you divide that, we will get an expression like this: O1p is equal to c square into, here again this is multiplied by c square and divided by c square, and this term will remain as it is. I will write this thing as it is, that is this term. Next, I will simplify that. This c square and this c square will get cancelled, will comes as 1, and minus, when this c square moves to the denominator of this will become r1 plus r2 whole square divided by c square. Instead of writing that, I will write it as r1 plus r2 divided by c whole square. The same thing I have written here. So this is a this step is obtained by simplifying this one. C square will get cancelled, that is 1, and when it comes to the denominator, it will become r1 plus r2 divided by c whole square. So that is the next thing. And again after that, it can be written as, so I will take this c square out of the square root, and then I will write this under the square root as 1 minus of r1 plus r2 whole square. Instead of writing that square root, I will write raised to 1 by 2, and I will call this as equation number 4. So I got the value for this, or expression for this O1p. That means O1p, that is same as that of length BD. Next, again I need to obtain the value of this length of the belt of AC. As you all know that, instead of drawing this line from O1 to P in this direction, that is parallel to BD, I will imagine that I will draw a line parallel to this line AC. O1 to P will be drawn parallel to this AC. Again I will get the same expression. You all know that the same thing we had studied in case of open belt drive. So similar expression like the equation number 4 will be obtained if you draw a line O1P parallel to AC. That means length of BD and length of AC are same. So that means O1P we got it as C into 1 minus R1 plus R2 whole square raised to 1 by 2 is equation number 4. And next again, so here we need to do again expanding the term within the bracket by using binomial theorem and neglecting the higher order terms. So that the term which was in the bracket should be expressed or expanded by using that binomial theorem, and we will neglect the higher order terms here. So we will write this thing as 1 minus R1 plus R2 by C whole square raised to 1 by 2. This is the term in the bracket. This has to be expanded by using binomial theorem. I will write that as 1 minus of and 1 by 2 R1 plus R2 by C whole square. Yes, I will substitute this in place of that term in the bracket. So equation 4 will become C into 1 minus of 1 by C into 1 minus of 1 by 2 into R1 plus R2 by C whole square. So I think you got that. Where is the one more sign change we got here? One more sign change is here. It was R1 minus R2 in the open belt drive, whereas here in case of cross belt drive we will get R1 plus R2. You can remember that. And we will get, so total length of the belt again as it is L3 is equal to 2 times of O1P, because O1P here which was drawn to one side, and again that is again it has to be added twice, because it is length of the belt in contact with which is not in contact with either of the pulley, will get 2 terms there. So it is 2 times of O1P. Therefore it is equal to 2C into, we will write the same term as it is, and we will write that, we will call this as equation number 5. So this is equation number 5. It is L3. Then we will substitute equation number 2, that is value of L1, equation number 3 value of L2, and equation number 5 is this value of L3 in the equation number 1. Equation number 1 is L is equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3. So I will substitute that. If you substitute that, you will get an expression like this, that is L is equal to pi plus 2 alpha into R1. This is value of L1. Next again L2 is pi plus 2 alpha into R2. This is the value of L2. Next L3 value I will substitute here, 2C into 1 minus of 1 by 2 R1 plus R2 by C whole square. Next again I will simplify this. I will just multiply all these terms here. Pi into R1, pi R1, 2 alpha R1, 2 alpha R1, pi R2, next 2 alpha R2, and we will multiply this term with the bracket here, with the terms which are inside the bracket. 2C into 1, it is 2C, minus, so 2 will get cancelled, and this C 1 will get cancelled with 1C of this. So this will become R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C, because 1C will get cancelled with this C here. So that's why the square for the C will get removed here. So it remains as R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C, and this 2 will also gets cancelled, so no 2 in this case here. So clear. Next, after that we will move again further simplification here. So that phi is a common term there. I will take that pi as a common term. It is R1 plus R2 will remain. Next, 2 alpha was also a common term. I will take it outside. It is R1 plus R2 will come, plus 2C into minus of R1 plus R2 square divided by C. Next, again you all know that in this term, in this expression, so R1 is known, R2 is known. These are what we can calculate. R1 is the radius of larger pulley, R2 is the radius of smaller pulley, and C is the center distance between those two pulleys. These can be calculated very easily. Whereas alpha has to be alpha has to be calculated. So next thing is, what is alpha? So yes, this alpha is to be calculated, and once you got the alpha can be substituted here, and we will substitute all the values in the expression. Definitely you can calculate what is the length of belt for cross belt drive. Next, let us see what is that alpha here. Again, I will make use of that same cross belt drive diagram. So in the cross belt drive diagram, again I will take the right angle triangle O1 O2 P, and in this this is alpha. I will take that sine alpha. Sine alpha will be, it is O2P, opposite side, divided by O1 O2 hypotenuse. Sine alpha is equal to, this is the opposite side, O2P, this is the hypotenuse, O1 O2. So O2P, again you all know that O2P is a summation of O2B and BP. O2B is same as that of R2, and BP is same as that of R1. So O2P is equal to R1 plus R2, and O1 O2, it is a center distance between the two pulleys. I will write that as C here. I will call this as equation number 7. But you all know that for smaller values of alpha, sin alpha will be treated as alpha only. So when the alpha values are smaller, we will take the sin alpha as alpha. So then this expression, that is equation number 7, will become, instead of writing sin alpha for small angles of for small values of alpha, we will take it as sin alpha as alpha only. So alpha is equal to R1 plus R2 divided by C, and we will call this as equation number 8. Then this alpha value will be substituted here in this case. So then equation number 6. That substitute equation number 8 in the equation number 6. Next, I will show you the substitution here. So this will be written as it is, pi into R1 plus R2. Next, this again 2. Instead of alpha, I will write that as R1 plus R2 divided by C, and I will write the remaining thing R1 plus R2 here, plus 2C. I will write again as it is, minus, and we will write the remaining term R1 plus R2 square whole square divided by C. R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C. I will substitute as it is. Next thing is, again you all know that it is R1 plus R2, 2 times it was there in this term. So it will become R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C. Here it is 2 R1 plus R2 whole square by C. Here it is R1 plus R2 whole square by C. That is minus here and plus here. So next expression will be, will be written as same as it is, pi into R1 plus R2, and 2 minus of 1 will be 1, and R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C plus 2C. I think we will rearrange this expression once again, so that I am rearranging this. So will be given as 2C plus pi into R1 plus R2 into plus R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C. I think you got the expression for, this is the expression for calculation of length of the belt in case of cross belt drive. As I said already, this procedure is almost same as that of the expression or the procedure what we are going to use to derive an expression for open belt drive. So this is for cross belt drive, and even you can remember that expression for this open belt drive. What was expression for open belt drive? It is almost same. So 2C was there, fine, plus pi into R1 plus R2 was there, that is also correct, and here it was R1 minus R2 whole square divided by C. But in case of cross belt drive, it will become R1 plus R2. Other than this, all that expressions or all that procedure is same, and it is very easy. Once you practice that derivation, definitely you can easily reproduce a derivation without any difficulties. So even the steps are also very simple. You can understand each and every step very easily. We will recall this derivation once again. So first thing is, you will write the diagram for cross belt drive, and once you write the diagram for cross belt drive, then write what show everything clearly in the diagram itself. What is r1, r2, what are the angles and all those things, what is the center distance, alpha and all. Show everything clearly there. Once you show that thing, then write r1 is the radius of larger pulley, r2 is the radius of smaller pulley, c is the center distance between those two pulleys, L is the total length of the belt, L1 is length of belt in contact with larger pulley, L2 is length of the belt in contact with smaller pulley, L3 is length of the belt which is not in contact with either of the pulley. Then after that, write an expression for total length of the belt. L is equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3. So if you want, we'll show it again. We'll go back. That is L is equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3. That is equation number 1. And after that, we will write what is the expression for L1 and L2. L1 is equal to pi plus 2 alpha into R1. L2 is equal to pi plus 2 alpha into R2. Next, L3 has to be calculated. To calculate L3, we need to do a small construction part here. That is, we will draw a line O1P parallel to this BD. So then we will get a right angle triangle here, O1 O2P. From this O1 O2P we will write expression for this O1P. So O1P we will get it as O1 O2 whole square minus O2P whole square divided under the square root, and this we will substitute the value of O1 O2 as well as O2P. O1 O2 is C and O2P is R1 plus R2. And once you write that, we will multiply and divide that term in the bracket by c square, and if you do that, you will get an expression like this. And again, if you simplify this, it will be 1 minus of r1 plus r2 by c whole square, and again that's multiplied by c square under the square root. Next, what we will do is we will take that c square outside, and I will write the remaining thing as this, the term which is under the square root as the entire term raised to 1 by 2. Call this as equation number 4. Then after that, we will expand the term in the bracket by using binomial theorem, and we will neglect the higher order terms. We will get an expression like this. Next, after that, we will substitute that in the previous expression, that is in the equation number 4. Then O1P is length of the belt BD. Similarly, length of the belt AC is same as that of BD. That's why we need to add those two. So we will get 2 times of that O1P, and we'll get the expression equation number 5, that is length of L3. Then we need to substitute all these value L1, L2, L3 in the value L. If you substitute that, we'll get an expression like this, and we'll multiply all the terms, that is the terms which are outside the bracket with the terms inside the bracket. We'll multiply that and we'll simplify them, and after that we will get an expression, and in that expression all the terms can be calculated without except that alpha. Alpha is unknown here. Yes, alpha has to be calculated. To calculate alpha, we will again construct the right angle triangle O1 O2P and write the expression for sin alpha. Sin alpha is equal to O2P divided by O1 O2, that is opposite side by hypotenuse. I will write that, and O2P is R1 plus R2, we all know that already, and O1 O2 is center distance C. And for small angles of alpha, that is we will take that as sin alpha as alpha only. Small values of alpha, sin alpha is equal to alpha. Yes, we will take that. Then we will write like equation number 7 will becomes alpha is equal to R1 plus R2 divided by C. We will call that as equation number 8. Then we will substitute that equation number 8 in the equation number 6. If you substitute that, you will get that expression like this. Then again it is R1 plus R2 and R1 plus R2 here. It will become R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C. Whereas here it is R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C. It is minus and it is plus here. So 2 minus of 1 will be 1, and we will be left with this expression. And again this will be left with this expression, because it is, as I said, this was simplified, plus 2 here and it is minus 1, and this terms is same. So plus 2 minus 1, it is 1, R1 plus R2 whole square divided by C. And we will rearrange this. We will write that 2C plus next pi into R1 plus R2 plus R1 plus R2 whole square by C. So this is that expression to calculate the length of belt in cross belt drive. So we need to write this expression, and any one out of these two will be asked for 10 mark. So please practice these two derivation. Next, we will move to some of the theory concept in the belt drives. So first, let us discuss about this slip of belt. What is this slip of this belt? So when you are during the power transmission, as I said, when we are selecting that belt material, we already discussed that belt material should possess some properties. One important property is it should have some high coefficient of friction. So when that belt material is having high coefficient of friction, definitely the power transmission will be efficient. We'll see why that is required now. A firm frictional grip between that belt and a pulley is essential, definitely. A firm frictional grip between the belt and the pulley is essential for efficient power transmission. If there is no proper frictional grip between that belt and that pulley, what will happen is belt will simply move forward without making that pulley to rotate. That means if there is no frictional grip between that belt and the pulley, so the belt will simply come out of that pulley, or belt will simply move out or simply move forward without making that pulley to rotate. So if the pulley doesn't rotate, definitely there is no power transmission. So that is what actually they are telling here. A firm frictional grip between the belt and the pulley is essential, but sometimes it becomes insufficient. Maybe because of belt material, that frictional grip may be insufficient, or maybe due to continuous usage of belt for longer period, the belt may worn out, thereby it may reduces that frictional grip between that belt and the pulley. Just because of many reasons, the frictional grip between that belt and the pulley surface may reduce or become insufficient. This may cause some forward motion of the belt without carrying the driven pulley with it. So this reduction in that frictional grip may cause that forward motion of the belt. That is, the belt may move forward, but it doesn't make the driven pulley to rotate. If the driven pulley doesn't rotate, then definitely there is no power transmission. So that is what actually slip of the belt. So the belt will slip, so it will move forward, but it doesn't carry that, or it doesn't make the driven pulley to rotate. So thereby which there is no power transmission, and that is called as slip of the belt. Yes, this slip of the belt will be expressed in terms of percentage. Yes, you can see this when we go to solve the numericals. They will mention the slip of the belt in terms of percentage. I think you all understood what is that slip of the belt. Slip of the belt is there should be sufficient frictional grip between the belt and the pulley surface for efficient power transmission. When this frictional grip is insufficient or becomes insufficient, the belt will move forward without carrying the pulley or without making the driven pulley to rotate. So that will cause what? The driven pulley will not rotate. That means that is there is no power transmission will happen. So that is called as slip of the belt, and it will be expressed in terms of percentage. Next is creep in the belt drive. Actually this creep is just a relative motion between the pulley and the belt surface. We will see how that relative motion will happen between that pulley and the belt and the pulley surface. So you can see there, so we already discussed in that belt drive there will be one side is, that is lower side is tight side and upper side is slack side. We already discussed that thing. When the belt passes from slack side to the tight side, a certain portion of the belt extends. That is what, when the slack side there is less tension, and when the belt moves from slack side to tight side, that portion of the belt will definitely get extended, and because of high tension there. And similarly, when the belt moves from tight side to slack side, because of less tension in the slack side, the same portion of the belt may get contract. So that is what they are telling here. When the belt passes from slack side to tight side, a portion of the belt extends, and again the same portion of the belt it contracts again when the belt passes from tight side to the slack side. So because of that variation in the tension, that belt may extend and contracts. So because of that reason, due to these change in the length, you all know that when the belt when it gets extends, length increases, and when it's contracts, the definitely length of the belt decreases. So that is what, due to this change in length, there is a relative motion between the belt and the pulley surface. Yes, because of the change in length of the belt, there will be a relative motion between the belt and the pulley surface, and this relative motion is called as creep. Remember this. So the creep is the relative motion between the belt and the pulley surface, and the relative motion is just due to change in the length of the belt. And how the length of the belt gets changed is, when the belt moves from slack side to tight side, the belt portion of the belt gets extended, and when the same belt moves from tight side to slack side, that portion of the belt may contract. So that leads to change in length of the belt, and due to the change in length of the belt, there is a relative motion between the belt and the pulley surface, and that relative motion is called as creep. Next is velocity ratio of the belt. I think I told in the beginning of this belt drive concept itself. So the driver pulley, size of the driver pulley and the driven pulley may vary. Don't think always the driver pulley of in bigger size and driven pulley of smaller size. Don't think like that. It may vary depending on our requirement. So for that, we'll have a term called it is velocity ratio of the belt. So it is ratio between the velocities of the driver and the follower. So it is very simple. It's a ratio between, as the name itself suggesting, velocity ratio of belt. It's a ratio between velocity of the driver and the follower. It can be expressed mathematically as this velocity ratio can be expressed mathematically. Yes, I will show you that how to express that velocity ratio mathematically. So I think you got the definition of velocity ratio. The ratio between velocity of driver and the follower. So we'll take that D1 here. D1 is diameter of the driver and D2 is diameter of the follower, and N1 is speed of the driver in revolution per minute and N2 is speed of that follower in revolution per minute RPM. Next, let us move to the length of the belt that is passes over driver in 1 minute. The total length of the belt that pass over the driver pulley in 1 minute is can be taken as pi D1 into N1. And we'll take that length of the belt which passes over the follower in 1 minute as pi into D2 into N2, because D1 is the diameter of that driver pulley and N1 is the speed of the driver pulley. So for that length of the belt passes over the driver pulley is pi D1 N1, whereas length of the belt passes over the follower is pi D2 N2, and this is just in 1 minute. Length of the belt passes over driver in 1 minute is pi D1 N1, and length of the belt passes over the follower in 1 minute is pi D2 N2. And next, we all know that since the belt passes over the driver pulley is equal to the total length of the belt passes over the follower pulley in 1 minute. So same length of the belt has to follow over driver as well as follower. Since the length of the belt passes over driver in 1 minute is equal to the length of the belt passes over the follower in 1 minute. The length of the belt which passes over driver pulley as well as driven pulley in 1 minute, it's same. So that's why we will give that as pi D1 N1 is equal to pi D2 N2, and this can be expressed as velocity ratio is given as N2 by N1 is equal to D1 by D2. This is the velocity ratio. And next to that, if you consider the thickness of the belt, this is the expression, that is velocity ratio is equal to N2 by N1 is equal to D1 by D2. This can be given when the belt thickness is negligible, means when the belt thickness is not considered. If you consider that belt thickness, we will give the expression as when the thickness of the belt T is considered, then N2 by N1 is equal to the term T will get added to the numerator and denominator of this side, that is this term, that is diameter term. D1 is diameter of the driver, D2 is the diameter of the follower. So plus T, it is thickness of the belt as well as thickness of the belt will get added up. So this is the term or expression for velocity ratio, and this is the velocity ratio when the belt thickness is considered. Yes, you just go through this. I think this thing is enough for today's class.